to bring about some goddamn change. Sick and tired of punching the clock and wasting my life away. Sick and tired of the blasting people in a no good using way. Sick and tired of the powers that be giving my rights away. Sick and tired, I can't take no more. Gotta get away. Why can't you make it clear so I could understand that what I say and what you hear are never quite the same? I know I want to, I know I need to bring about some goddamn change. Sick and tired of punching the clock and wasting my life away. Sick and tired of the blasting people in a no good using way. Sick and tired of the powers that be taking my rights away. Sick and tired, I can't take no more. I gotta get away.
Hello, people. We're here again in Encore Chat, and I'm here with Kevin Hummel from the Brothers Hummel. He plays bass guitar and...
I dabble with a little mandolin.
Okay, good. So he does
you know.
multi-timbral instruments this man plays, okay? So I wanted to ask you something, Kevin, if you don't mind. What got you started into the business?
Oh, actually, that little thing happened. My brother brought home a Kiss record, actually,
Okay,
when I was 6.
okay.
And that kind of was the initial spark.
And that got you going? Okay.
Pretty much, yeah. He started, once again, we started listening to the music and, you know, the whole visuals, because Kiss was a very visual band, and being a 6-year-old kid, you got rock and roll, you got these dudes who look like superheroes.
Yeah, that's right.
So it was like a win-win thing. So
Yeah.
I, you know, and also too, my older brother, you know, was all into playing drums. So I kind of, once again, little brother followed suit. So that's kind of what led me into playing.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Now, did you study with anyone, or just did you work it yourself?
Oh yeah, no. Actually, well, I originally had my first guitar lessons when I was 6.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, no, that didn't work out, man.
No, you know.
Dude, I was 6. You know what I mean?
I know.
You teach, right? So you know what it's like 6-year-old kids like bing, 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 bing.
Yeah, they're all over the
freaking
place.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, I tried that for about a year. It didn't work out. Went back to being a kid and, you know, wanted to be everything under the sun. And then when I was 12, I kind of picked up where I had left off. Actually was very fortunate to grow up in an area and a time where the musical climate was very fertile.
Yeah.
I took lessons actually off these 2 cats that were local guys that were like real heavy hitter guitar players.
Okay.
One guy, Dan Gallagher, part of a brother team, insanely talented musical family. And the other cat was John Citarelli.
Okay.
You know, once again, crazy guitar player. Studied with both of those guys over a 2-year period. And at that point in time, I was playing guitar. So I learned all the basics. You know, just, you know, your scales, your basic theory.
Right.
They tried to teach me how to read, but unfortunately, in hindsight, you know, kind of an ass, I didn't do that. So I really don't read very well at this point in my life. But anyway, so that was pretty much my training. And then everything else that I learned, I pretty much learned from records.
Okay.
You know, like the way that, you know, everybody
you
used to do it.
But do you think, if you could take that back, Kev, do you think do you regret that you didn't read? And if you do regret that, what do you think?
Yeah, sure, man.
What do you think that would have done, contributed to you if you?
But yeah, in hindsight, like, it would have generated a whole other level of work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like if you can read, you can get into like Broadway stuff. You know, you can get into the bigger dollar areas as opposed to, you know, playing like rock music or in bars or whatever.
Right.
Clubs and kind of like the thing that I do. So yeah, in that sense, it would have been great. Okay. You know what I mean? Because once again, you know what it's like being a musician or being in music. It's like trying to generate income, you got to like freaking have your fingers in a whole lot of different
All
pies.
over places, sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely. You don't know where your next meal's coming.
Right.
A
So
lot
it's
of
like, you know, you
times.
got to play in a lot of different bands. You got to do a lot of different things. And the reading thing, like I said, would be just more avenues.
That would help. Yeah,
You know
that would
what I'm
help you.
saying? I mean, granted, it's like I was fortunate enough to have like a really good ear, so I can pick things up. But once again, it's like if you can read, it's like I could probably like swing with jazz cats.
Yeah,
Whereas like
yeah.
right now, it's like I don't know if I can.
Yeah, well,
what
obviously you
I'm
got a good ear, but you could.
Yeah, no,
but you'd feel secure if it's written there, it's out and you're following the chart. You know, yeah. I get that. Now, just backing up a little bit, go back to when you were playing guitar, right? Do you remember your first guitar you got?
Oh, sure.
And do you remember where you got it, or do you remember how you got it?
Yeah,
I want to know that.
Well, I'll put it this way. Technically, my first guitar was a Christmas present that my father bought for me.
Okay.
And it was a Harmony.
Oh, okay.
A Harmony
Sure, remember
guitar.
harmonies? Yeah, absolutely.
But once again, going back, I wanted to be Ace Frehley. Ace Frehley played a Les Paul. He didn't play a Harmony. So I was a little disappointed. And anyway, and then later on, a cousin of mine actually gave me she had a Winston classical guitar.
Okay.
So I had two guitars when I was a kid, and by the time I kind of picked it up when I was in my early teens, the Harmony I think was almost like a bow. It was so warped.
Yeah, the neck was good. Yeah, good. You're on.
The Winston wasn't in much better shape. Actually, that was kind of falling apart too. Actually, the fretboard was held on by Scotch tape.
Oh, Jesus.
So for the first 3 months
Wow.
of playing, I had to learn on that because my
Yeah.
father, was just like, well, you tried it once, you dropped it. I'm not going to
go out and get some more money and waste it.
If you stick
sure.
with it, I'll buy a guitar. So I stuck with it for 3 months, and actually then my father went out. I think it was for my 12th birthday. Went out to the local music store at the Livingston Mall, which was I think Baldwin Music.
Sam Goody.
No, Sam Goody was where he got the Harmony.
Maybe it's Frank Richards.
But there was a music store right by the Sears.
Oh gosh,
on
what the heck
floor,
was that?
Right across from the K&B toys. But anyway, so my father bought me my first guitar there, and that was actually an Ibanez Roadstar 2.
Oh, okay.
Which was an awesome guitar.
Yes.
In hindsight, I wish I kept that one. Actually over the years I've been really good at keeping my gear. It's like when I buy a bass or something, I usually don't get rid of it.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of cats they kind of wheel and deal and trade. And,
move to go up.
But that one guitar I actually did end up selling to a student of mine who I was teaching, which is ridiculous because I think I was at the time 14 when I sold it. So
wow.
I was only playing like 2 years. I had no right teaching anybody at that point in time. But I sold this kid my Ibanez, and I think I used that money towards my second guitar.
Gotcha.
Which was a BC Rich Bitch.
Oh, yeah. I remember that too.
Yeah, that was a big mistake.
Rick Derringer put that guitar in.
Yeah, an awesome looking guitar.
Yeah.
I just remember played great. Sounds not very much character.
Yeah.
So, but once again, I was a kid. I was more like shiny. Hey,
I like the way it looks. It's closer to Ace.
Exactly.
That's the whole thing. The body style, right? Now, when did you start picking up multi instruments? Like then you said, okay, I want to go to the bass, play bass too, because I'm playing both. And when did you just start accumulating? Like, what was your first bass you accumulated to?
Actually, the first bass I actually bought from my brother.
Oh yeah, okay.
And it was something that we originally referred to as the $15 bass.
Wow.
Because it was just this piece of plywood.
Yeah.
For the most part, I think it was actually a lorry.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like a bolt-on neck to a telly type body. It had this really old pickup that the kind that you could talk into.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could you could double as a microphone almost.
T-scope kind of guitar.
And it was short scale.
Yeah.
And originally I bought it for my brother, but anyway, when I started playing in bands, bass players were always hard to come by. So every once in a while I might kind of just play it.
Yeah, bounce.
But then when we did find bass players, usually the cats were limited. So I used to actually, in a lot of my early bands, I'd learn the bass lines, teach them to the bass player, and learn my guitar parts as well. And then, so that's where the whole kind of bass thing sort of started.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But once again, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a guitar player. But bass felt so natural. Once again, I was in bass denial in a sense. It's the way I like to look at it. Some people disagree with me on that one, but anyway, so then I really became a bass player out of necessity because I was in original bands and the bass players were always flaking out.
Yeah.
Actually the last bass player that I had in a band before I took on bass, he was a great bass player. Actually, a local cat, this guy Tim Kerrigan. Phenomenal man, a great feel. Had a really cool Rickenbacker, And after he quit the one band that we were in, and I got a couple of replacements who didn't work out, I was just like, I'm done, man.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna just.
You're better off doing it yourself.
I'll be this way. It's the same way I got forced into singing in bands because we can never find singers.
Yeah,
So
see in there.
Yeah, I was just like, man, this actually feels like home.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's,
yeah. And once again, guitar
probably
was
one of the
cool.
most boringest instruments when you're alone. I mean, alone,
Yeah, no,
just
no,
getting
yeah,
your
yeah.
chops when
Yeah.
you're playing with people.
Yeah, oh, yeah, no, it's a
you
whole-
could play all around it. You know?
It's a whole different. Yeah, it's a whole
it's
different.
really,
thing.
really creative, man.
Yeah.
It's really.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think, Kev, about the future of music today? Like where it's going. I mean, like there's pros and cons. Like like. You remember years ago when everybody played, I mean, you'd get your albums and you'd say,
Yeah.
wow, you'd read them, there were
Yeah.
stories.
Right, you had visuals.
Yeah, you did a
Yeah.
lot of stuff, and now it's, people download stuff. It's like a whole different music industry. What's your thoughts on it? If you were an upcoming musician today, how would you approach this whole thing as opposed to what we were doing way back?
Yeah, actually, that's a really good question because I actually ran into a kid recently. He was like 20 something. And he was real enthusiastic, and he was telling me about his situation. He's like, got this band, and we're all really good, and we're gonna make something happen in 2 years, and blah blah blah. And he's like, and if not, then we'll figure something out, or whatever. We'll get regular jobs or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, he was very enthusiastic, and we were talking, and I didn't want to be like the jaded
Right.
mother that I usually am. Like, well, listen here, man. Back in my day.
Let me tell you when we were.
Yeah, exactly. So I decided not to pull that shtick on him.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I was like, because I was like, this is cool. Like this cat.
Yeah, sure. He's got the drive.
Like I remember when I was that cat.
Yep.
It was a long time ago, but I remember that guy. Yeah, he was there at one point.
You had that drive and the fire, man.
But it was one of the questions he asked me is like, so when did you start making money playing original music? And I was just like, dude, I've never really made any money playing original music. I've lost lots of money.
Yeah.
I've lost fortunes probably at this point in time because I was always financing everything. All the bands that I did,
Sure.
before I started, trying to play in bar bands and cover bands and doing that whole angle. But yeah, as far as like the state of music today, I mean, I don't envy the kids. That's for sure. Because like I remember when I was growing up, man, it's like everybody played for the most part. At one point there were too many guitar players. I remember, every band that I played in when I was a teenager, it was almost like we were a southern rock band because we had like
14 guitars.
3 or 4 guitar players, and you're like, dude, really? Come on, man.
2 drummers, It's like,
Yeah, and 2 of them couldn't play or whatever. But anyway, but everybody played,
Right.
and so there was like a lot of interaction. Whereas I found today, like a lot of kids don't play, or if they do, they don't put bands together. Like I don't know how kids go about forming bands. Like once again, when I was a kid, it was like, Johnny
Walk
freaking
down the
plays
block,
drums,
yeah.
man. You know what I mean? Or like something.
let's
you know
call
what I
them
mean?
and, we'll get together.
Right, so it's a totally different scene. And then the business itself too is like changed.
It's changed a lot.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Whereas like, years ago you could, you would go out on the road and you would sell things and you would play and you would have your record out. But yeah, like you said, now with downloading, it's like, yeah.
It's a lot harder. There's no formula.
No.
Where there was a formula
Right.
when we were doing kind of saying, you go out, showcase, a record company might like, maybe sign you, put money behind
Right.
you, get you out there and you're
Right.
working it.
Just work-wise, the kind of work that I do, it's like, once again, I'm interested in playing and
Right.
being creative, but I also like to eat and have a roof.
Yeah.
And gas.
Pay the
to get me to-
electric, want
right,
some
yeah. I need
cable here
gas
and
to
there.
actually get to
Yeah.
these silly gigs.
Yeah.
Sometimes play with these monsters that I get to play with, which is great. But
Yeah.
well, I'll put it this way, like a side note, I have my first original project going, and it's been like I guess 15 years.
Wow. Okay.
And it's great because like I'm playing with these cats, and it's like we're all just doing it. And once again, everybody in the band is like a professional, and we're all doing it to just for the love of it.
Right.
There's like no money involved. It's like, and the thing that's great about it is like we're creating like a lot of really good tunes.
say,
The creative juices are going. It's a real good project just in the sense of like it's a well balanced machine.
Right.
Drummer can really swing. I'm playing bass. There's the keyboard player who's just like insane, and then we got this broad, this chick singing, and she's just she's like,
Just killing it.
oh
nailing
good
it.
god, yeah, she's like one of those like wacko phenomenons.
Yeah, just
At
nailing
least
it.
in my mind, like she's got like that thing, that like singers, popular singers today don't seem to have.
Okay.
And that thing is just like I don't know, man. That like when you watch something like say Aretha Franklin or like Diana Ross or any of those singers, soul singers from that period, you know, I don't know. It's different than how what soul music has become today.
You know, I think it is. I think the more you see it, Kev, like or when you see other people and you see people, the cream comes to the top.
Sure.
Right away. If you had any advice for kids today to say, you know, take a 7-year-old, just for argument's sake, and say, okay, I want to, you know, like, how important is it for them to start and take lessons and start from the ground up?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, the thing has got to be, do they have the drive and the want?
Yeah. Okay.
And if they have that,
Very good,
well, then
yeah.
it's like, yeah. I mean, it's you have to learn the basics, the rudiments, man. You know, like I'll give you a perfect example on my brother's end. You know, he's a swinging drummer, and when he started playing drums, I guess he was 11. You know, shortly after we pulled the first bass drum out of the garbage and put together his, you know, traps, like literally, yeah, it was like we were, you know, in the 20s putting their traps there. But yeah, he started taking lessons from this older cat who, you know, taught jazz, and he learned a lot of the jazz rudiments and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Which once again, I mean, for a drummer, it's very important. It's just like, you know, with if you're playing like a stringed instrument, like, you know, knowing chords and you know, scales and all that
and
stuff.
What
it's
works
like,
with what in the
right.
Yeah,
so it's
absolutely.
like, you know, it's yeah. If you have the drive, you know, it's like you should, you know, help encourage the kid to get to that means. The real trick though is like getting through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And getting over that hurdle and getting
and also just like breaking down the barrier, man. You know what I mean? Like my own personal experience with teaching, you know, privately. You know, it was always like, usually first couple of months teaching a kid, it's just like there's this like little thing, you know what I mean? And then eventually, like, you know, the walls come breaking down.
Yeah.
And then that's when I can really start, like, you know, making headway and getting, you know, across
to what you,
or at least trying to get the information that I have across to them, and where they're going to actually receive it and retain it.
Yeah, and it listens, and it's not, you know, you're breaking that wall.
But once again, it all comes right back to the same thing. It's a drive. Like once again, like a lot of the kids I taught, it's like taking lessons. It was on the schedule. Well, you got soccer practice at 3. You know, you're home at 5. You got, you know, your guitar lesson from here to here. You got to do homework. Blah blah blah. You got CCD. Blah, whatever, you know, whatever it is, man. It's very compartmentalized. A lot different than it was when I grew up.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, once again, I mean, just
you got to want to do it, and you got to want to do that 10-15 minutes a day, at least practice if you can every day, and you obviously you'll see the difference, and you can get them going, keep them going, you know. On that. Yeah, so that's it. Well, Kev, I want to thank you so much for coming and stopping by and giving us your thoughts. It's really important. I appreciate it. Remember what we talk about. Always support the mom and pop shops. We're trying to get music back into the arena. And thanks again. And again, this is Encore Chat, and we'll talk to you soon. Really put an effort in to learn an instrument. It's so important. Thanks again for lending an ear. Thanks for stopping in to Encore Chat. I'm Pete Schmeeds, that owns a small little store called Schmeeds Music, 831 Route 10 East in the Pine Plaza Shopping Center in Whippany, New Jersey. Thanks, guys, and stay in touch to see more videos to come.